I've been following Christ for 2 years now. And to be honest with you, I still feel like I need to prove myself to other Christians. But the reality, oh no. Look what just happened. Like, how does that even happen? I barely, oh brother. These eggs just crack really easy. I feel like that means they're not good eggs. Like, these shells are so thin. They are organic though, by Greenwise. 18 grade A eggs, whatever that means. All I know is all my eggs are straight A students. Back to what I was saying, no one should feel like they need to prove themselves to other Christians. It's actually funny, I was reading this morning, dude, I almost did it again. I read Romans 14 today, and Paul goes on to say in verse 3, let not him who eats despise him who does not eat, and let not him who does not eat judge him who eats, for God has received him. And so for context, because context is very, 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 very important in the Bible. Can you hear this? Doesn't that sound thin, like a thin? That's a thin shot. I bet I could. Okay, maybe I can't. Obviously, as we know, Paul is writing this letter to the Romans, and something going on in their church is some of them don't eat meat because they're like convicted not to, and some of them are more mature and know that you can eat whatever food because God allows it now, and yada yada yada, whatever, so on and so forth. So my study Bible breaks down that verse and says, the strong are not to despise the weak, that is, to treat them with contempt. The weak are to not judge the strong by attempting to place excessive prohibitions on them. Weak being new believers and strong being mature believers. The new believers are trying to put unnecessary rules on the more mature believers just because they feel convicted. Later in this chapter, Paul goes on to say, if a new believer has a conviction that doesn't go against any of the laws or anything like that, it could just be between them and God. Don't condemn them. So it creates this peace around new believers and more mature believers. And for me, I always feel like I need to prove myself to more mature believers. And to be very honest with you, and I hate to admit this, but sometimes I feel like I need to assert myself with newer believers, as if I'm like up here, put myself on a pedestal. And between me and you, that is absolutely ridiculous. I'm embarrassed to even admit this to you right now, but at times it's true. And don't make me feel like I'm alone in this. I know I'm not alone in this. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm unfortunately out of butter. All the avocados, they're hard. So breakfast today is gonna be a little bit different, and I really hope that it's good because yesterday's dinner was so bad that it hurt my feelings. You know, a funny thought that I have is if a more mature believer feels like they need to assert themselves to a new believer, is that more mature believer not less mature than the new believer? Something to ponder on, something to ponder on. I think you get something in your ear. You like that? I don't know if you guys are entertained, but I'm entertaining myself. My buddy gave me this peanut butter. I want to make sure it's not contaminated. My mouth is caked with the butter of a peanut. And with that, I don't know if you're new here, but if you're not, what's up, gang? I'm glad to have you back. And if you are, I'm Cameron. I make videos online about Jesus because he saved my life. And I also make this breakfast every single morning. Not necessarily this breakfast every single morning. Also, we gather and chat, talk about a topic, talk about Jesus, so on and so forth. And if you want to join that, if you want to join that club, that community, club, not to be confused with cult, please follow. Okay, you guys have a good day.